Hey onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out this week's episode of the One Man Podcast. It's always free and available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and many more, as well as on the web at onemanpodcast.com. So please, whatever platform you're listening on, like and subscribe. While you're at it, give it a rating, leave a review. Why? Because it helps the podcast, and I'd really appreciate it. How about that? What about social media? Search One Man Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with what's going on there. Get a little extra content for yourself. And finally, to get in touch, please send your emails to contact@onemanpodcast.com. You send it, I read it on the podcast. That's the deal. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Demers.
I'm K. Trevor Wilson.
Hey, it's Krista Allen.
Hi, this is Rick Mercier.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
My name is Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 173 for Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. How's it going, onesies? How are you guys doing? How is life treating you? Welcome back to the soothing sounds of my voice. I hope you guys had a great week. Let me see. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I went to the gun range with my buddy Mark. I had a nice little afternoon/evening with my buddy Matt. I spent the night at my friend Isabel's place. I drove to London, and I had some fun with my friends John and Red in London. And what else? I mean, I got a bunch of stuff. I did Harvey's RV stuff. Guys, I did all sorts of things, and I'm going to talk about them right now. So let's start off with the first thing I did. I went to the gun range with my buddy Mark. I'll address it as always. The podcast is a little late, guys. I'd actually already told you that this particular one would be late, although it's even later than that. I'll be late to my own funeral, they say. And I'm sipping on a magical cup of coffee. The Venecio from the Nespresso line. Just a little hint of vanilla. I put a thing of sugar in it. I do not taste it at all. All right. So I apologize for the podcast being late. I have been putting it off because I am back in the thick of a bunch of things that I'll get to. But I'm just letting you guys know that I do apologize. I did know this one was not going to happen on time. I just didn't know how late. And to be honest with you, I have prepared to do this many times, and just my energy was so bad. And I had so much stuff to talk about, so many people who did so many nice things for me over the span of this week, that I did not want to just half-ass it. I wanted all my gratitude for all of the time and attention that I got to be properly articulated. And I hope that I've got it in me right now to do it. But it's the only time I got, so that we're not waiting for another week. Here we go. Kaboom, starting gun. Let's do it. And speaking of guns, I went to the gun range with my buddy Mark. Mark, I've told you guys before, Mark is a guy who works with guns and is now a gun owner himself. So we got to go to the gun range. It was a great experience. I'm now reaching back through time to remember my experience. We went relatively early, right? I was at his place for like 10, I think, in the morning. And we went out to the range, a nice little spot there. We show up. And there's a few little ranges. Like I'd never been to a gun range before. I didn't know what to expect. Like my brain is always like those things you see, on television where you're like out in the middle of the desert. Well, there's no deserts here in Ontario. At least near Ottawa, I can't think of a single desert sort of area. So it's like, I'm thinking like, those guys are firing at targets and there's fucking cactus in the hills in the background. Like, is that a gun range? I think those guys might just be going out in the middle of the desert where no one knows and firing guns off. I think that might be what's going on in those videos that I've seen. Videos make it sound like I'm on YouTube watching it. Just saying like you're on Ripley's and they're talking about the fastest gun guy and he's at the range shooting bottles in the middle of the desert. So I didn't know what to expect. That's what I was expecting to see, right? But it's like, no, it's, it's grass and trees, like the way we, where, kind of like the climate that I live in. That would have been a real good hint, right? So we get there and apparently there's 4 different spots. 2 of the ones that we, the ones near the front where you park, I'm like, those ones are already taken by dudes. And I was like, all right. Well, Mark's like, all right, let's go check the next one up here. So we drove up this little sort of like, driveway, little trail, whatever. hit the point of no return for vehicles or whatever. And then we walked the rest of the way. So we got our 2x4s and whatnot that Mark has already built into like, target stands or whatever. And, the cases with the guns, they're all locked up, everything like that. And there's a bunch of little like procedural stuff that he was telling me about, which honestly, I can't remember all of it right now. And at the same time, I'll probably get the terminology wrong. And rather than walking you guys through a Swiss cheesed version of the procedures, I'll just tell you what I remember. I just remember we got there and it was like, you have to put guns on a certain table or whatever. They have like, I guess it's like safe zone or whatever, so that that like you're not allowed to put like ammo, I think is what it is, on that area. So like when the guns are there, like, that they're not armed, they're not loaded. It's really cool when you walk with your guns from that area. So basically, I think it was like an unloading zone or something like that. When you walk with the guns from that area, you have to unload them and carry them in such a way that you can see they're unloaded. So Mark had, I don't remember the names of the guns. I think he had a 22 for sure. I think if it wasn't, it was the closest resembling a Glock. And then he had a 357 Magnum and a 44 Magnum. Like the dirty, hairy guns. And I was very excited to shoot those, right? Like the Rick Grimes from Walking Dead, the big fucking hand cannon revolver with the long barrel. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna shoot these fucking cocksuckers off. So it was you got to carry the guns in such a way that you can see that they're not loaded. So for example, with the revolvers, you have to pull back the hammer. I think that's how you do it, or whatever. There's a button that releases the cylinder to the side. Right. So that basically when you're carrying it, you can see that the cylinders are out to the side. And so they can't be fired because the bullets would only be to the side. And the same things with the other one. You have to, like, I guess, pull back the clip or the chamber from the handhelds, so that, you can see that there's no bullets in them and whatnot. Anyways, it's just like a thing. So when people are walking with the weapons, you can see, and you always point them downrange and everything like that. A lot of like little things like that. But then anyways, Mark and I got going with the setup of the things. We moved the table out, put all the weapons down. Apparently you're only allowed to have like 2 of them without the trigger locks. Like there's trigger locks on these bad boys and everything. So you can't pull the triggers or anything like that. Cause like, holy fuck, some of them, it doesn't take a lot to get them to fire. Like if they're cocked and loaded, the slightest squeeze of the trigger, kapow. So anyways, we set up our little thing and we started stapling the targets to the backboards, whatever. I swear to God, this is the dumbest thing. I was so fascinated by like all of our process and everything like that. It really wasn't even paying attention to my own safety. Now the guns are not with us or anything like that, but I'm just like, I remember like, we were rolling these. I was kind of holding the targets so that Mark could staple them to the backboards, whatever. And I wasn't really paying attention. We had cardboard along the backboards to staple the targets to. Just wasn't paying attention with the positioning of my fucking finger. And I had it like right behind. Just Mark was sort of sliding the staple. I didn't think he was going to staple right in that spot. Just luck of the draw. We've got this big staple gun. My fucking middle finger is right behind the spot. And he just slides the staple up, pow, right through where I was holding. Blasted both ends of the staple right through the top pad of my middle finger. Swear to God, the most dangerous gun we used all day was the staple gun. That was the one that I got the injury from. How funny is that? But oh yeah, and I was bleeding. I was bleeding good for a bit, and this was before we even got started. So that was a funny thing that had happened. That ha happened. What ha happened, Josh? Well, that ha happened. So yeah, fired a thing through my finger with the staple gun. What else? I'm trying to remember the stuff from the beginning there. Yeah, it was, anyways, got the targets up. I just was so fast. I was laughing at myself for fucking bleeding. And let's put it this way. I'm so late recording the podcast that wound has completely healed. I had the 2 big black points in my finger where the blood underneath. That's how late this podcast is. I've completely healed this wound at this point. I'm looking for it on my middle finger going, was it even my middle finger that I got? But yeah, so we did that. And then we start, pulling up the bullets and stuff like that to get the guns loaded. And Mark's got like this cool little quick loading system that you load the guns with. Now, all the 22, 38, 357, 44s, these are all, I guess, the millimeter measurements of the bullet, which is funny because the Americans, they don't know the metric system yet. You go millimeters for bullets, and they are all over it. They can figure that out entirely. So how about that, huh? You know, if it's like a metric system for bullets, they're like, we're on it. We got it. It's like, well, why don't you just apply that to everything else? It's the same fucking idea. Anyways. If it was anything other than bullets, they wouldn't have a fucking clue. What the fuck is a liter? So, we load the guns. We loaded the 22s. I believe it was 38s. I could be wrong, but I believe it was 38s. So the 22 bullets were so fucking small that I was just like, they were kind of like, they looked like little bitch bullets. So like the 22s, like you see them, even the gun looked a little weird to me, but the Glock, man, those 38s, those were bullets. Let me tell you, that was a fun one to shoot too. So I'll tell you about the experience. I'll tell you. So we loaded the 22. We fired that off a couple times. Little holes in the board that looked like you pushed like a little fountain straw through. You know what I mean? Like those tiny little white straws. That's what, but the size of the hole in the cardboard or in the targets that the 22 bullets would leave. And then, you know, the 38s, they looked like you could push a booster's juice straw through. You know what I mean? Like a thicker straw. That's what the 38s left. And so I'm getting ready to fire this 22. I'm nervous, guys. I'm really nervous. I'm not nervous about like the recoil or anything on the 22 because it's tiny. I was just, and we had really cool headphones on too. Like we had headsets where you turn them on. So you put these ear covers on, ear protection, then you turn them on. So they allow you to talk to each other. Like it's like a, you know, there's microphones, everything like that, but any kind of percussion. So like, even if you clap your hands, you wouldn't hear that. You'd feel it, but you wouldn't hear that because any kind of percussion was gone. And even some of the things I said bass-wise were actually gone, ladies. But anyways, it was kind of cool. Fired the 22 because I'm just like, this thing can still hurt somebody. So I was very mindful of always putting it down. I was always mindful of the safety on. Like, I'm surprised because part of me was like, I might just be uncomfortable to fucking hold these things. Just because I'd hate to like I'm human and I'm capable. The older I get and the more, you know, worrisome I get, I slip up and make mistakes, right? We make more mistakes when we're worried about making mistakes than if we're just doing something. So, I was just like, fuck, I would hate to like put this down the wrong way or something like that and fucking fire one off, especially knowing the hand cannons that Mark brought and that we're going to be playing with, you know, that 357 Magnum and the 44 Magnum. Oh, baby. That makes you feel like a big man holding one of those guns, let me tell you. So, anyways, 22, nothing big deal. The Glock style one, the 38, I believe it was. And Mark, of course, email me and correct me if it's not 38, but that one was fun. That one looks like the cop guns, you know what I mean? Not the revolvers, but the fucking, you know, the sort of 9mm style, whatever's, it just looks cool. It looks like a cool gun. Bullets were bigger, like I said, almost twice the size of the 22s, and firing that one was fun. It was fun. Like obviously all these guns have like little like eyesights on the top, and it's like they say, man, like all the times in the movies where like bang, 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 and they hit all the guys. Pfft, not like that at all. We even moved forward, like 'cause they have all on the grass, they have spray painted all these different yard markers, so you know how far you are away. And that's the thing too, like there's like a ceasefire. So if you're going to move forward, it's like ceasefire. Everyone just put the guns down, you know, unload, safety, so someone can walk forward. Just to shudder at the idea of like walking forward where someone's pointing a loaded gun at you. So even like coming forward or whatever, it was hard to hit the center target. Now I hit the bullseye 2, maybe 3 times, you know, all morning. I hit the target several times, several. But in terms of like I'm looking at this thing, the red is in between, like you got the 2 little things in the back, sort of U-shaped, right? Like the two towers. And then you want to line that front one up right in between them, like perfectly centered in the U. And even though you've got it there, by the time you squeezed and pulled the trigger, your fucking hands may have moved slightly, whatever. So like, it's all about practicing this. You also need to make sure you put your hands on the magazined guns differently, because if they fire out whatever the bottom or whatever, like you don't have your hands in the way you hurt yourself. So like if shit goes south, like that's how the machine is just designed. So the gun's designed to fucking shoot the thing out the bottom or whatever. So you just keep your hands on the side. Revolver's not the same story because the bullets are coming out the side. And it's kind of cool too, like as you're firing and you see the shells popping out, going over your like right shoulder or whatever. It's kind of funny. I said with Marcus. Mark was telling me after, he's like, when I was firing, he was like, I was doing a few of the bullets come out. You try to catch them. You got to pick up your own, they call it picking up your own brass there. So you have to pick up your own shells or whatever. Like, it was a cool range because it's not as expensive, but it's kind of like an honor system, take care of it. Everyone pick up your own shit or whatever. Someone was there, I guess, with a shotgun. There's all these plastic casings all over the ground. So that person was an animal. They never picked up after themselves. But yeah, so Mark was like, as I'm firing, he's like, I was just trying to see if I could catch them out of the air and just keep tracking them to throw them. We filled a Starbucks cup of bullets. I should put that on the Instagram for the One Man Podcast, and you guys can check that out. Anyways, it was really cool. And I tried to do the same thing when Mark was there, and I'd see them firing out, and I kind of positioned myself to where they were sort of coming in the same area. And I it was like one or two catch, and then one fired out and hit me right in the fucking forehead. It's just funny. And again, like, it's not like I'm standing a foot to his right. I'm standing like 3-4 feet behind him, and I'm watching where they're coming. And then I position myself where if I reach my arms out, they'll land kind of in that area. Instead, I tick one right to the forehead after a few. It was just funny. And they warm up over time. It's not like you fire them off and they're like hot, hot, but over time they start to get warmer. So there was that. Let me tell you, man, firing. I wanted to see Mark fire the guns first. So I was like, you go first. And he's like, and then, he kept saying like, you go ahead. I'm like, nah, I just want to see it done first. I want to watch it and whatever. But when he handed me the Magnum, I think it was the 38 Magnum, fuck. He's like, you go ahead first. And he put two sizes of bullets, and I think he put a 38 and a 357. Maybe it was a 357 Magnum and he put like a 38 and something else in it. Anyways, all I know is that there's two different sized bullets. And I'm knowing I'm like, these guys, these Magnums, they kick. Like, I could feel the kick in the Glock gun. And that one was like, it wasn't insane, but when you fire it, your hands move back. So you're kind of like bracing with your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your legs. You're just like, okay, this thing's firing, and you got to control it a little bit. Even just like a staple gun will kick back. You know what I mean? So there's going to be some force. Well, this thing has more force. The 357 Magnum or whatever, I'm like, all right, like, this thing's, I'm like, you gotta hold your arm. So I'm like, I got my feet planted. I've got my shoulders locked, my elbows locked, my wrists locked. And I'm like, I'm controlling this thing. I'm like, I've got it. So I'm waiting for it to kick. So imagine football. You're standing there, legs planted. You're waiting for someone to come and hit you. So when I fire this thing and it kicks back, it wasn't too bad. Like, because again, I was controlling it. I was expecting it. So I can see people like point a gun and just like, whatever, pull the trigger, pow, pow. But cock the hammer back, whatever, and just the slightest squeeze, boom. I was like, I feel it kick. I was like, oh, there's some power there. And then Mark's like, okay, now the next bullet, right, which is a bigger caliber. Pull the hammer back. Boom. I was like, holy shit. Like, I still, again, held it. It didn't fly my hands back. It wasn't like those shotgun videos where you see some chick trying to fire a shotgun and it smashes her in the face or flies over her fucking right shoulder or whatever. Like, there was some kick to it. I got videos of all this stuff too. You guys let me know if you want to see them. But and all I know is, and then we're like, okay, that one was fun. And then Mark said, you want to try the 44? And I was like, yeah, but I was worried. I was like, have you fired? He's telling me, he's like, he hadn't even fired the 44 one-handed. Like, I had both hands on this thing. And then I fired the 44, and that one was like anticipation. And it left some pretty big fucking holes in the target. And I just know, I was like, yeah, sorry, just the idea, the damage that fucking gun can do to a human being. I'm not like, woo doggy. I'm more like I could never own one. I would hate to have something like that in my house. It just terrify me. Right. And Mark's a great gun owner, and he's very, very responsible and everything like that. It's just the fucking damage that thing. You feel the power of this thing when you fire, and you're like, a lot of guys I know who are against guns fired guns, and I don't know if they fired handguns. I've never fired a rifle or a shotgun or machine gun or anything like that. I just fired handguns. But I know some guys who've they're not against guns, and then they fired a machine gun or something big, and they're like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, they do it and they're like, I get it now. I was like, okay. I don't feel like that's me. It was fun. It was so much fun, but just like, whoa, So I'm getting ready to fire this thing. The video of me, Mark's just like, all right, Josh is going to fire the 44 for the first time. And I'm there, my fucking arms locked, my hands held properly. And then and again, like, it's not like you squeeze the trigger's not coming back for a while. You barely pull it and it fires. You know what I mean? It's just like just a little pull towards yourself. That's what the hammer cocked back. If the hammer's not cocked back, you pull it all the way. Like, you pull it more anticipation, but cocked back like that. Now, like, seeing the movies where guys got the fucking hammer pulled back and he's pointing a gun at somebody. I'm like, dude, if you fucking move the weight of that gun too much and squeeze your hand just to catch it a little, you're firing that fucking thing at somebody. So yeah, pull the hammer back, go to pull it, brace everything, pull. It fires. My hands don't fly back. They don't. Just, you see the little kick and the little flash from the muzzle. And the video is just me going, bang. Wow. I think I went, holy shit. Just the kick of it. And again, I'm braced. I'm a big dude. My body is braced. Legs, arms, shoulders, everything ready for this thing to kick back. And it still kicks back. Like, it's like you've got your hands pocketed waiting for someone to punch them. You know what I mean? And it's just like that pow, like that hit. That's what it felt like. It felt like someone punched me in the hands. You know what I mean? And after a couple shots of it too, like the where your finger is, like the I guess I don't even know what to call it, the trigger guard or something like that, the little metal part, like, it fires back into your knuckle. It actually hurts your knuckles after a fire. You wouldn't be like wanting to take down zombies with this thing, because it fucking hurts. It is a powerful fucking hit. But anyways, the only thing I'll move off of this over 20 minutes and I'm just talking about guns. Welcome to the goddamn Killing Varmints podcast. All right, you step on my property, I take your goddamn fucking head off. But it was it felt fun. Oh, coffee. It felt good. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Mark was telling me my spread was good, so we did like shot for shot near the end, where we'd, just line it up, take a shot, and then, he'd take a shot, I'd take a shot. We just, track the target, and my grouping or my spread or whatever the fuck it's called was particularly good. So and Mark, I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on blast, buddy, but Mark was telling me that was the best grouping or spread he's seen from anyone who's been there. Now, I didn't start off that way. It was a little, we weren't there for particularly long either, but it was fun. It's not cheap either. Like, some of these bullets, like 10, 15 cents each. So, you just bang, 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 bang at a target where you're like, okay, well, that was, some of them, like, I think like the shots are almost like $1 a piece or whatever. Maybe not that expensive, but it's like, yeah, man, like, it's you can blow through quite a reasonable amount of cash. Just fill it, bang, 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 bang. Okay, fill it, bang, bang, bang. It's not like BBs or paintballs or anything. Either way, huge thank you to my buddy Mark. Had an absolute fucking blast. Great time going. I look forward to doing it again sometime. I wouldn't mind trying like other kinds of, Mark, if you want to go ahead and just buy a bunch of guns, so that I don't have to buy some rifles, some shotguns, you go ahead and you just start yourself a little militia there, and then I can go ahead and shoot your guns. But no, I wouldn't mind trying some rifles and shit like that too. Start playing with some scopes or whatever. But I mean, in terms of like the target practice kind of thing, it was fun. It was a good time. That evening, was it that evening? Oh, fuck, that was a long day for me. I did a bunch of stuff. I actually met up with my buddy Matt, who been hanging out with a little bit here and there. My buddy Matt and I were going to like have a drink and smoke a cigar or whatever. So we, what did we do? We went to Joey Lansdowne at, what do you call it? At Lansdowne. That was really dumb. A TD Place, they call it now, but it used to be Lansdowne Park. Nice little restaurant. Went there for happy hour. We had a couple of drinks, a quick meal, courtesy of my friend Matt. Yeah, it was a really nice meal. We had an amazing server who was beautiful from what I could see, because we're all wearing masks. And she was like, "Hi, I'll be serving you. My name's Jess." And I was like, I couldn't hear. I was like, "My name's Jeff." I was like, "I'm sorry, your name's Jeff? Nice to meet you, Jeff." Like, I was just playing around, whatever. This might sound like a humble brag. I'm only just giving myself credit for it because I wouldn't normally, in fact, I wasn't at the time and I wouldn't normally, but I'm trying to allow myself to feel a little bit good about myself. So I'll tell you guys the story. I had a great server, and Now, obviously, everyone thinks that when they're doing well conversationally with a server, it's like, yeah, it's a server. I'm not unaware of this, and I'm fully recognizing it in the moment. But she was very nice, very friendly. I had her laughing. We were joking about a bunch of different things. And she made a point. Even my buddy Matt's like, dude, I don't know how you talk to a chick like that. And I was like, well, I don't think for a second that I have a chance with her. So you'll find it's very freeing to be like, well, there's nothing to lose. It's not like if I say the wrong thing, she's not going to give me her numbers. I mean, it's not going to happen anyways. So I'm just joking around with her. And then and then she made a point to let me know that she was single and that this happens to me a lot. And I used to like it when I was new. Now I'm like, I just feel like it does a lot of heavy lifting for me. But he's like, yeah, like, she's like, you're really like, we were joking about something. And she's like, are you like an analyst or something like that? Like, you're very sharp and very quick. And my buddy goes, he's a comedian. And I was like, and she goes, oh, that makes, I go, yeah. So when someone's like, oh, he's a comedian, I just feel like, oh, it's like a blanket sweep of something. So I don't know. So as over the course of the meal, she made it apart. She's like, I'd really like to come to one of your shows. You're really funny. Like, and she made a point to make, to say that she's single or whatever. So I said, well, what do you want? Do you want my email address? Do you want my phone number? What would you like? And she's like, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll give you both. You contact me however you like. And I'll send you some tickets to come see a show next time I'm there. She's like, I would love that. Now, it has been a few weeks since I have heard nothing from it. So sorry to, disappoint or whatever. I was, it'd be great to be like, and guess what, guys? Didn't happen. Beautiful girl. She was like mentioning how she's like 21. I was like, oh, Jesus. I'm 31. I'm 31. I wish just slice off 6 years of my life like that. I'm 37. Not going to happen. Why do you doubt, Josh? Why do you doubt? I'm a realist. All right. Let's keep going to the gym. Let's keep getting good. Maybe someday if I get this fucking, ship turned around, then we can start going, why do you doubt? But why do I doubt? Because she looks like she looks. I look like I look. I'm older. She's, anyways. It was a good interaction. It was a nice little ego boost that I was able to so freely chat with her. We even discussed, pickup lines and things like that they get. I go, I'm sure you get all sorts of shit. I go, I'm really just talking to you like a person. At one point I said that, I go, well, obviously you're very good looking, so you probably get hit on all the time. I go, and I personally as a comic, I'm very interested in the pickup lines that you must hear, especially the new lines, right? Because it's, guys are always trying new shit. And she's like, when I said like, oh, you're very good looking, she's like, oh, thanks for judging me objectively or whatever. Like, well, I'm just good looking objectively. And I go, well, that's all I got to go on so far, blah, 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 this and that. So, 2 minutes later when she brought the food, she's like, how does everything look? And I'm like, you mean objectively? Right. So anyways, fuck Josh. You sound like such an asshole. You sound like someone who's proud of himself. Wow, you got a server to be friendly and nice to you. Listen, I didn't ask if she was single. She felt the need to tell me, and she asked for my contact info. She's not made use of it, so maybe she's just like, haha, I fooled another one into thinking that I was interested. And you might think, well, she was just trying to get a tip. Well, Matt paid for lunch, so haha. She didn't get any, she gave the attention to the wrong guy. Anyways, we walked across the street to the Cigar Man, a little nod to my guys there. And, what was it? Yeah, we went to Cigar Man, got ourselves a couple of sticks, came back, had some whiskey, sat in the porch, had a nice smoke, was great. Took Matt back, did a little switcheroo, and then I went to my friend Izzy's place. And Izzy and I were chatting, had a great night, had some good conversation, talking about all sorts of fun shit. Had some drinks, and I ended up crashing at her place. And then over the course of the evening, the most significant thing that's happened in the last 2 weeks, not most significant, just the biggest fucking pain in the ass. Are you ready? Oh, he's been so positive this episode so far. Well, throw that shit out the fucking window, because I had a big fucking pain in the ass here. 1 second here. I'm going to pause you guys for 1 second. I got to send a message here. Someone's coming by. All right. Sorry. Rather than just listening to me hum for 15 seconds when I send that. So get this. I was even sending some messages probably like 1 o'clock in the morning to some friends or whatever. I did send messages to my little PlayStation group. We've got like a Facebook chat going. And I did send some short little videos of me firing those guns to them because a couple of them live in Texas and the States where they're allowed to carry guns. So it's just like, hey, here's me with my first gun experience. But somewhere over the course of the evening, like I woke up to, hey, what's wrong? Like, why are we blocked and I can't see you on Facebook or anything like that? So I wake up to some of these messages, like, what the fuck? And this is like early morning, like 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. And I go into my email and see messages from Facebook saying there's been suspicious activity. You might need to secure your account. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll figure this out when I get home. All right. So I take my friend Izzy to work and I go home, reset my password. It allows me to reset my password because I've been hacked or whatever. It sends me, it asks me some questions like, did you do this activity? Like add this person as a friend. And I was like, that I didn't do. And, this thing I didn't do, but everything else, like, yeah, that was me, that was me, that was me. And then it's like, great, we need to authenticate your account. We're going to send you a text code. And I was like, okay, send me a text code. And this, is this your number? Yes, send me the code. Nothing. I wait a minute. Okay, resend code. Nothing. All right, another minute goes by. Okay, resend code. You've tried too many times. You have to wait 24 hours before you can get another code. Like, what the fuck is this? So I message a few people that I know, like, yeah, I've got some issue with Facebook, whatever. And this was Thursday. So I'm like, I honestly don't remember what the fuck I did on Thursday. I got some last minute stuff done, ran some errands to get ready to go to London, which I was doing on Friday. And that was that. So Friday morning rolls around and I attempt to try again. And it tells me I got to wait 24 hours because I tried a couple times throughout the course of the day. I'm like, okay, so every time I tried yesterday, it's like a fresh 24 hours starting. So I waited until Sunday morning. At this point, I'm at Reds in London. Wait till Sunday morning. This happened to me Wednesday. So on Friday I tried, it's like, tell me 24 hours. So I'm like, so I'm going to let an entire day go by. I'm like, I'm not going to try anymore today. And I'm going to let all of Saturday go by and I'm going to try on Sunday morning. I try on Sunday morning and I'm like, Red, I want you to take a look at this too. Red works in computers and things like that. And I'm like, just in case I'm doing something stupid, she suggested to go into incognito mode on Chrome and make the attempt. And it worked instantly. Perfect. Okay, great. It worked. And then it says like, we need you to, verify your account or whatever. So send us an ID or something and we'll let you know. And I was like, sure, great. Here's I took a picture, of my driver's license. This is me. It's my account, take it. And they're like, we'll let you know when whatever it's been like through whatever. It might take a couple, it might take up to 24 hours. 2 days. I think I tried it like later and it was like, your account was disabled because I think this was like one of the first messages I got, like even before I was able to get back in my account. It's like your account was disabled because it breached our policies or whatever. And of course it's like, well, yeah, the hacker took it over and probably did what a hacker does, which is like message everybody on your list to try to tell them to buy free sunglasses or shoes or not free sunglasses, but buy sunglasses and this and that and whatever. Cause it's like literally, and I also noticed in my account that there was an email. So someone was like, well, someone got your email. Got into your email address. They went to your Facebook. They sent a refresh code to your email and then got into your Facebook with that. Cause when I looked at my email, a little later on that first day, Thursday, I noticed that there was an email in my box with that code Facebook sent that had already been opened. So this person got into my email, opened that code and got in it. And the code was sent at like 2:30 in the morning. And by 2:40, Facebook was like, there's suspicious activity. We've disabled your account. And obviously that person did whatever it was that they were trying to do. I never saw it. I was sleeping. Right. So whatever they did, which I still have no idea of to this day, got me blocked from Facebook. So after I sent the code to them, whatever, I was like, okay, it's been like 2 days. I've received no emails. Like, again, I was working in London and stuff, hanging out with Red and John, all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's been a couple days. I go to look and I'd first appealed because it was like, your account's been blocked because of this and that hack. And it was like, submit a review. Cause I'm like, well, yeah, my account was hacked. So submit a review. Like you can't enter, I didn't get to write anything down or anything. I literally just hit please review. Well, 2 days after I sent in my ID and everything like that, I go to log in and it says your account has been disabled because it breached our things. We have already reviewed this and it cannot be undone. That's it. This is what happens when you log in. I'm not logged into my Facebook account and I can't like click around. It's like you log in, you get this message right away There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can click on. You can't click on the help or anything like that of Facebook because it won't let you pass this screen. I spent all sorts of days ahead of time too, looking for ways to contact Facebook about my account being hacked and stuff, because I'd spent days trying to contact someone. You can't get into the help section without an account. You can't do anything else. Also, they disabled my Instagram account, because my Instagram account, so if any of you are like, hey, we haven't seen anything on your Instagram account, they disabled my Josh Williams Comedy Instagram account because it was connected to my Facebook account. So that got disabled and permanently deleted. So I looked all over the net, articles, everything, articles from like 2010, things saying, hey, here's an email address you can contact Facebook, disabled@facebook.com or whatever. All that doesn't work. All Mailer Demon. I wrote these big long things, Mailer Demon, this and that. I found a place where it's like, fill out this form, and I would fill it all out and write everything that happened and said, hey, my account was hacked. Whoever, destroyed my, like whoever, went against the rules, that was when my account was hacked. Can you please, look into it? And so, like, and then I'd send the email, Mailer Demon, address not, it doesn't exist, blah, 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 or whatever the fuck it is. And I'm like, so Facebook has absolutely no way where you can write something out and send it to them. Everything that's there is like, if, my friend's account was hacked, well, have your friend click on this form. It's like, so if your account was hacked, you can fill out your password, reset. But like, in terms of them like reviewing why your account was disabled, it's like they looked at the infraction. They don't look at the activity surrounding the infraction. They're just like, this thing went against our rules. And if you're like appeal, they're like, well, look at it again and see if it goes. Like, no, that thing goes against our rules. So they didn't look and say, oh, was the account hacked? What also happened during this time frame? Like, did this person report, suspicious activity? Like, they literally found the suspicious activity and disabled my account and sent me a thing saying someone might have gotten your account, which I clicked on and everything. That at no point showed up. So what happened, guys, was I have an account that I'd had on Facebook for probably at least 15 years, at least. It's all gone. Everything on there, my dead grandparents' Facebook pages that are there, gone, no access. Every friend I've made, every message I've sent to anyone, all the pictures that I thought were safe because I'm like, oh, they're on Facebook. So if I ever, I don't need to keep them all on my computer. They're on Facebook. I can pull them off Facebook. All that is all gone. It's all gone. I tried to start a new account with my Contact the One Man Podcast email, but because that email was associated with my other account, like it was a recovery email, that account got disabled and blocked permanently. So I have since created a new account, and when they're like, hey, put your phone number in here, I'm like, no fucking way, because that phone number was on the other one, and I'll block it. Like, the level of like spread blocking everything that's me. Like, I haven't even spent a lot of time on this new account that I've created because I'm waiting to see if they somehow go, oh, well, isn't this the same? Like, their algorithm finds that like, oh, he lives here and he's done this and he's friends with all these people. And it's like before they know, it's like, oh yeah, let's disable that account. Because again, there's no one you can talk to. You can't message somebody there and say, this happened to me, and you've destroyed every link. So my Instagram account is gone. My Facebook account is gone. Anything that even remotely has an email, all the pages, Hilarious Bastards, Open Mic Mondays, One Man Podcast, Josh Williams Comedy, all that shit, can't find it. It's all associated with that other thing and just destroyed in a second, all because someone got my email. So if you're thinking like, well, don't do bad stuff or don't do this, don't do that, don't fucking kid yourself is what you don't do. If somebody gets your email address, right? Someone was like, well, who did you give your password to? I'm like, why in the fuck would I give anybody my email password? Who would ever need to get into my emails? Like who are you? Like, the people who are asking me this, who are you giving your email password to? You know what I mean? Somebody figured it out, and I wasn't easy, but someone figured out my email password. And I don't know. And the message saying that the person who asked for it was on a Windows computer on Chrome somewhere in Ottawa. And I have friends who can kind of look into that shit who tried, they can't find it. So if you're somebody who knows me, if you're the person, God forbid, if you're the person who did it, and you're hearing me, like, whatever your motive was for getting into my thing, whatever you posted, I still have no idea what was even done. I have no idea what they even did to get my account banned. Because usually you get like a warning or something, don't you? If you post something, they block you for 24 hours. Like to Twitter and other things and other shit. Well, Twitter, Tinder, Instagram, like they'll usually tell you like you've done something, you're blocked for, you can't post for I remember like when I was pitching shows to friends, I would like copy and paste like, hey, I got this show coming up if you want to check it out. Da, da, da. And I'd send like 50 of those. After like 50 of them, they're like, you can't send messages for an hour just because it looks like you're spamming or whatever. That happened to me once. So whatever this person did was so heinous that Facebook blocked it, would not ever, like, wouldn't even look to see if I was hacked or anything. Anyways, that can happen to you. So my Facebook account gone. If you've received a friend request from me and you're like, this is weird, it's me. It's actually my new account. And the only thing, if you try to find my other account, it doesn't exist anymore. It's completely gone. But that's that. So, don't think that your account is safe. If you have pictures or anything that you're like, oh, it's all safe on Facebook. Something can happen to you while you're sleeping. And that's that. That's the end of it. So it doesn't matter how long, how many pictures you collected and whatever it is, it can go that quickly. My buddy Mika still listens to the podcast. Meeks, I sent you a friend request. You haven't accepted it yet. So if you're wondering if it's me or not, it's me, motherfucker. But yeah, that was it. Like there's nothing on the internet that can help you. There's no one you can contact. And I spent shitloads of times looking for something, some way of contacting, some way of appealing. There is no one you talk to. You click a button saying, will you review it? Please review it for me. And they go, yeah, we reviewed it. And it's no. There's no place to state your case, to plead your case. Nothing. I found one spot where it's like, please give us details. But the thing is, if you've already, like the one that I clicked was like, please, it's like a request a review, and you click on it and it goes, your review will be seen. Well, I found like a one that was like appeal form. But the thing was, when I typed in my shit, when I hit submit, it says, we've already looked at your case and it's already been reviewed and cannot be undone. We've done like, so I was like, okay, well, maybe if I had found that prior to it locking me out, maybe they would have seen it. But at the same time, like they're the ones who noticed my account got hacked. I clicked on a button saying my account was hacked and they sent me stuff. So I literally should have had those like notes or pings or flags of my account. Like my account was hacked. So when you're reviewing something, a report, like make sure it's what it is. And they don't tell you what was done. Anyways, I'm going to get off of it because it was nice to spend a week without Facebook. It was just kind of like, there's a lot of shit on Facebook that I need. I need certain contacts. I need certain Facebook groups where I get a lot of my marketing stuff for. The current Nespresso thing that I'm working on, I got through that. So, it could hurt me a lot with financing, with finances stuff. Sorry, I'm just thinking about some other shit that one of the saving graces, I don't have to go through 8 years of photos with the ex and eliminate them. So that was something I was dreading doing, cause it hurts. But that's not something I'll have to do now. And it did suck to, like, I kind of had, unfriended her and she wasn't in any of my shit or whatever. And then of course, while I was adding the new account, it had suggested her and I was like, get, I'm not interested in seeing that. So, all right. So I drove to London. This was still, I told you guys the saga of the Facebook thing. But of course, so, that started while I was still here in Ottawa and continued while I was with my friends in London. So went to London, got to hang out the weekend with John and Red. John did what he always does, which is pull out all the stops for food. Now he didn't do it every single night. And of course we understood this time wasn't going to be as wacky and crazy, but night number 1, dude makes a fucking crazy ass charcuterie board. I can't remember the first night. I think I got there late. So we just we hung out, we played some games, we had a great time. What did we play the first night? I don't think actually anything the first night. I think we might have just sort of sat and shoot the shit, whatever, just had some fun and whatnot. Crush his head. The first night we were there, I think myself and John, we went to Costco, picked up some stuff for charcuterie board because Red was having a friend over and his lovely lady. So it was kind of like, we're going to do a games night. We're going to do some food, have some fun people. So myself and John went to Costco, picked up a bunch of stuff for the charcuterie board, went to the LCBO and got some beers. Then Red and I went to this really cool kind of market thing that they have there. There's always like fresh foods and fresh sandwiches and stuff like that. We picked up some stuff as well. And then the guests of honor that evening and, came back and John had made this like insanely nice charcuterie board. That is already, actually, I think I might've put it in the story. Oh shit. Okay. Chloe just said she doesn't want to go to Ottawa. No worries. Sorry, that was a message I sent. And what do we have here? Ooh, I got a meeting in 30 minutes. I better fucking wrap it up. Who's this? Boom, 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 boom. That's hilarious. Sorry, gang. Welcome to the Me Reading Text Messages podcast. So, yeah, the charcuterie board, holy shit balls. And I have to acknowledge Red and her hospitality. All right, I'm not ungrateful, but this yeah, it's on the podcast page, guys, on my Instagram. So the One Man Podcast is the only Instagram for Josh Williams right now. I've not decided to start up another one. I think I might just do this one, but holy shit. Like, John bought gooseberries or however you say it. I thought it was gooseberries, but like, he had like 4 or 5 different cheeses. So like brie and goat cheese, and then this like smoked blue cheese, and then some other cheese. I don't remember the name of it. It was like a hard cheese. There's like, if you look at this picture, it's like a fucking Where's Waldo. Like every inch of it is something else. He even like spread the gooseberries around the board just for like color. So they're like staggered. Same thing with like little peach slices. Cause remember at breakfast, we had like a nice breakfast spread. What he did French toast is what he did for breakfast that day. And amazing. He had the bread out the night before. And I just remember seeing like all the bread lined up on this tray. And I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe he was prepping it or whatever. I thought maybe it had already been soaked or something and whatever. And it was just sitting out ready to go. But he was like, no, he left the bread out. He's like, if it gets stale a little bit, it absorbs the egg. But like, this fucking guy, man, guy can cook. The guy motherfucking can put together a meal. So yeah, he's got like figs on this plate. You can see it. All right. If you're like, oh, let me look at this thing while Josh walks me through it. We had little cocktail onions and pickles, and there was jams and pickled banana peppers, raspberries and olives and apple chips and almonds and like prosciutto and chorizo sausage and like fucking, he even like fried, I don't know if he fried them or what he did to them, but he fried some little cherry tomatoes with like garlic and salt, and there's raisins. Ugh. But I know some people like them. Grapes. That was just the one board. And then the other board fucking had like green beans from their gardens and all these different like dried breads and dried chips and everything like that. So the bread, the crispy part of the charcuterie board. And you got to check it out. You have to look at this. This is just the, tasting thing. Like, I've never had charcuterie here. Let me make you one. And then he goes all out. If you guys look at this thing, you have like, this thing would have been $100 easy in the store. 100 easy. And then you look at the second plate and you're like, yeah, so this would have been like $150, $200. I think. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. But like, just the amount of ingredients and stuff like this, absolutely fucking amazing. I love visiting them. God, I eat good. So what was I going to say? Yeah, we do that. And then Kishore and his lovely lady Sandy came over, and we had, they brought, I don't even know what to call them. They told me like Vlada or Vada, but it's like there's like this really nice like chickpea lentil fucking curry ball patty falafel things, delicious. And then she made us these really, so fucking good, like these wraps where it was like chicken and like they basically chicken curry and cheese wraps. Oh, so delicious. God, I eat good when I'm there, like good and bad. You know what I mean? So that was amazing. Then we played Betrayal at House on the Hill, which was a fun game, the legacy version. A lot of fun playing that game. What else? We went to that market with Red to get some things. John and I. So again, like the next night, again, keep in mind, I get to see my pal Red. I get to fuck around with Red, make fun of Red. I got to push Red's buttons, and I'm not going to tell you guys what her buttons were, but holy shit, did I ever learn how to push her buttons. That was fun. And so, yeah, so we did, we played some games. The next night we got to hang out during the day a little bit. I think we went on like a nature walk or something like that. My allergies weren't horrible, but this was ragweed season. So, we went for a nice walk, her, me, the kiddo, and John. That night, John makes fucking pad thai from scratch. Amazing. Even the sauce, for Christ's sakes, absolutely delicious. Absolutely fucking delicious. We sat outside with that. That was fantastic. What else did we do? Had some drinks, played some games. We played Dead of Winter. That was a lot of fun. A game I really like. Trying to keep it into the days, that I was there, right? Cause I mean, I can talk about right up that bleeds right into the next, Costco, right into the next, episode. of One Man Podcast. So I don't want to do that just yet. But we did the pad thai, and then on Tuesday night, we got to go out, which was nice. We went to a place called Dolcetto. It was a nice restaurant that was still in their neighborhood, a nice outdoor patio, which they kind of like put us half on the patio, half still in the restaurant, which was interesting. There was a lot of young kids too. Like a lot of these young kids dressed like little soccer hooligans or like little thugs. And then they'd be with a lady who was dressed very, very nice. It was a nice restaurant. I had, I think both Red and John did they did like an appetizer, but then they did like the pizza, like the flatbread pizza that they do there. I did, like these beef noodles with lamb that was pretty good, but I gotta be honest. The best of all the meals I had, it was the worst meal that week, which is not saying that it wasn't bad, but I would much rather spend that money, throw it at John and have him make something because his food is way better. Even though he used to work at that place, I enjoy his food. I'm telling you, man, Man Crush is a little too strong, but I very much appreciate that skill and that talent. Holy fuck, do I ever feel like a king when I'm there. And that's not to say that it's all John. I love my friend Red. I love her very, very much. I enjoy spending time with her. Everybody's life is a little busy. They're getting some renovations done. The kid already, this was funny. I gotta tell you guys this story. So Monday, right? Because I went down to see them on the weekend, and they were kind enough to put me up so that I could do the Harvey's RV thing in London while I was there. So, oh God, my back. Somebody was telling me they heard the podcast that they hear the squeak. You guys hear that? That squeak in the background? That's my new chair. I thought Allphonic would clear it out. So if you guys are hearing that, please write me, contact onemanpodcast.com and let me know if you're hearing it. But someone told me that they heard it, and it's just every time I move, I guess there's little squeaks or whatever. I can't really hear them with the headset on, but that doesn't mean that you guys aren't hearing it. So they put me up while I came to do the Harvey's RV thing. And I get there day one. So here's the thing. My Nespresso tour was ready to go again, but I didn't find out until I'd already committed to doing the Harvey's thing. And I'm not the kind of person who's like, there's times where you have like a shit gig because there's all there is. And then a wicked gig will come up. Very rarely will I cancel something that I've already got for something else. Like, I feel like it's like that rude, like canceling a date with somebody because a better thing came up. That's a shitty thing to do. But sometimes you got to. But in this case, I had already committed to being a team member of this Harvey's RV thing to do London, Sarnia, Chatham, and Kitchener. Well, Monday morning rolls around and it's time to do Kitchener. So I, get up, get ready to go, all this fun shit. And I'm driving towards Kitchener. I'm still in London, haven't really left. And I get a message from my team lead saying, the fire suppression system went off in the food truck. And so they got to spend the day cleaning all the shit out of it. So they're like, it's canceled for today. So I turn around and head back to Red's. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, like, not a big deal. It's not like ruined my day or anything, but I'm kind of like, okay, well, good. I don't have to work today, right? Who doesn't want a day off? But I'm like, you know what? I drove, like, I'm covering the cost all the way to London and back. That's out of pocket for myself. Now the saving grace is I got to hang out with Red and John, and I would happily do that. I would happily cover that to go and hang out with my friends. So that was cool. But I'm turning down work in Ottawa, work that pays slightly more in Ottawa. Because I don't have to drive around to do it. They're like, we'll cover your travel costs and stuff. I'm like, great. But now that the work's getting canceled, it's like, oh, now the costs of travel, are weighed against less income. So I'm like, that kind of fucking sucks. I'm already losing money doing this gig, right? Like, had I known a little sooner, I probably would have just stayed in Ottawa and done the Nespresso thing. But I'm like, I committed. And again, if I hadn't been able to see Red and John, hadn't been able to see them, but it wasn't just like they obviously saved me money by putting me up. Had they not done that, it wouldn't have been feasible to go. But I'm happy to go see them. I had a great time with them. The only thing that made the trip worthwhile, and I had a good time with the team from the Harvey's RV, but just to lose a day and to factor that back into the costs and things like that, it was kind of like, again, it was more like, hey, I found instead of being like, hey, I'm going there for work, it was more like, hey, I'm going to go on a little mini vacation and just, make a little bit of money while I'm at it. Anyways, So I go back to the house, and here's the fucked up thing. I think I was tired from the weekend. My allergies were messing with me. So like I have this horrible decision that I have to make every day during August and September when the ragweed comes out, which is, do I want to be uncomfortable, sneezing, itchy, and swamp headed today? Or do I want to be drowsy, tired, sluggish all day? It's like, which level of discomfort do I want to be? And of course, I'm with my friends, so I don't want to be sluggish and boring and everything like that. Like, I don't want everyone to feel like I'm bored. It's just that my system is so attacked with the medication to keep me from just hating my life. It was tough. So they're getting some things done. They're getting some renovations done. I'm sluggish and uncomfortable with my allergies. So I just wasn't getting the best sleep and stuff like that. So I remember when they canceled it early Monday morning, I'm like, great, I'm going to go sleep. The only thing is Red works from home, and the guest room that I'm staying in also happens to be her office where she works from. So I'm like, I can't just come back in and go to sleep. So I was like, maybe I'll try to like lay down in the living room. They got like some chairs, like some wingback chairs, but like sitting in them trying to get comfortable, not a chance am I going to get any sleep. Then I go out to the car. I'm like, I'll just sleep in the car. I'll go out, sleep in the car. I roll, lean back. I got the sun in my face, and it's hot as fuck. I roll the windows down. It's so nice. It's nice outside, but I'm like, roll the windows down and couldn't get comfortable. I've got the fucking ragweed coming in. So like I feel my allergies. So roll the windows up, but it just gets so fucking hot in the car so fast. Couldn't get comfortable. I go out, go back inside. Red's like, well, there's an anti-gravity chair a gravity chair in the back. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, I grab the chair, and it's kind of hot in the sun. So I go and I find this nice little shade spot. I lean back, and within minutes I'm fucking cold in the shade. So I pull it out into the porch. I bring the chair back up and put it up on the porch, and I'm sitting in the sun, which is nice. Right. I'm finally like, okay. And then John and this other fella are working on their front. They got a project going on the front steps, whatever, doing some concrete and, cement work. And they're coming into the back and they're grabbing stuff. So it's like the noises, it's not bad. I'm not going to tell them to stop working so I can fucking sleep. But I'm like, it's warm. It's starting to get hotter again. And I was like, okay, but I could handle it. Then they're working, and I'm like, I don't know, this fucking big guy watching the fat fuck sleep on the back porch. So I'm like, just having a hard time. I'm feeling self-conscious. Can't just sleep while everyone's working. That just made me uncomfortable. And they finally stop. And then Red has lunch. So she comes out to sit with me, and she's chatting. I'm like, guy, it was like fucking Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I'm like, everywhere I went, I'm like, this spot's too firm. This spot's too soft. This one's too hot. This one's too cold. This one's too noisy. Like, it just would have been a funny little scene in a movie or something like that. Just trying to get comfortable or whatever. So that was just something that was funny to me. And I was even laughing at the time, honestly, like literally thinking I'm like Goldilocks. Just, this one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. This is too this. This is too that. It was funny to me. But anyways, I got Tuesday, last day of this podcast's rock up, whatever. Tuesday was in London, which was nice because I didn't have to get up as early, so I didn't have to make a commute. I managed to get there. Team was fun. We had a good time. It was the first time actually doing it, right? Because the first day was supposed to be Monday, but the truck blew up with fire suppression. So it was nice to see Kat, Ryan, and Mahar. It was really nice to see him. We had a good time. We chatted, shoot the shit, had some burgers, brought back free, or did I? Brought back some diet Pepsis there for my peeps, and some burgers and all that fun stuff. Great times there. So that was my week. A gun range, lunch with my buddy, a night with my friend, fucking Facebook fiasco, drive to London. I got my hair cut at Susan's, a spot in Kingston that I like to, which was a long layover in Kingston, longer than I had anticipated, but did that, we had amazing charcuterie board, had amazing pad thai, got to sit, John and I had a cigar out in the backyard, which was nice. Got to smoke a stick with my buddy, very courteous of him too, because he had a little cigar collection that he's been curating and was kind enough to share it with me. So, continuing saga of me staying with them next week. I will continue that. I hope that this was mildly entertaining for you guys. Secure the shit out of your email, right? Picking something. I thought my password was hard to guess. Apparently not. So just know, and also if you have anything on social media that you want to protect, that you think, well, this is good there, save it to the computer, download it, save it, make sure that shit is there. And make sure that people that you want to stay in touch with, make sure that you reach out to them and say, hey, can I get your email address? Have some alternative way of contact. Cause I've got people that I have no other way of contacting but Facebook, and some of them, in the comedy game, one of my good friends, my buddy who works at Jimmy Kimmel Live, one of the writers, the only contact I had with him was through Facebook. I know his number's different than it once was, because he lived in New York when I last got it from him, and now it's now he lives in LA. So, anyways, just things like that. Like, you'd be surprised how much of that. And I'll be talking about some other shit, social network related and social media related in upcoming episodes. So yeah, hope you guys have a great week. Please send me your emails, contact@onemanpodcast.com. I have some other questions and shit that I want to ask you guys, but I got to get ready for a meeting. So yeah, you guys are the fucking bomb diggity. I love each and every one of you. Thank God that Facebook doesn't get to decide whether or not my podcast gets to keep going. So, would love to hear from you guys. Tell me some stuff that's going on with you. Let's get this thing fired back up. I'm glad to be recording the podcast again. I had a blast. I got this meeting, and then I'm going to be sitting down to record the other podcast that's late. So would love to hear from you guys. Cool. All right. Contact at onemanpodcast.com. I'm going to have a question either next episode or the one afterwards for you guys. So I need you guys to, rather than you writing in to ask me something, I'm going to ask you if you could kindly write into me and let me know what you found. And having said that, I will chat with you guys, again very, very soon.